Welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, I want to talk about not becoming intimidated by the length of the journey in regards to your healing. Many people allow doubt, disbelief, and fear to inhibit the natural flow of their progress. And this is a very, very toxic, ingrained cycle of behavior that is oftentimes psychosomatic. It is bodily and psychological. So, physically speaking, many of us are addicted to things that destroy our progress. And mentally, many of us are addicted to patterns of behavior that really don't bring us any benefit because it keeps us in a constant cycle of negativity. Now, I'm going to do my best to explain what I just said in a more simplistic fashion because it kind of came out the wrong way. What I'm trying to say here is that oftentimes we allow negative patterns of thinking, believing, and just acting to inhibit our progress. We all have so much potential. We all have so much on the horizon. We have so much we can achieve. We have so many things that we can help others do in regards to, if you really embrace healing, if you really transform your life, if you break free from the addictions, not only will you become a better person, not only will you feel better and look better and glow, but you'll realize how important it is to spread your message. You can help others. Do you have any clue how good that feels? Do you have any clue how good it feels to lift people up and to provide some light in their life? So many of us have been hit over the head by this system. So many of us have been kind of terraformed mentally, and we don't really have a clean slate mentally anymore, and we have let all this like doubt, fear, and disbelief to come into our lives. A lot of us second guess ourselves. We judge ourselves addictively. Most of us are addicted to self-doubt. Most of us are addicted to even self-hate. How many people do you know are addicted to self-love and complete unconditional understanding of their own situation and their own problems? When you try to go about changing something from a perspective of anger, frustration, and when you just don't even like yourself, it makes it very, very difficult, ladies and gentlemen, to get anywhere in life in a state of peace. Now, life in no way, shape, or form is just all about peace and lovey-dovey, this and that. We live in a crazy world. We live in kind of like a science fiction novel. We're being sprayed with aerosols through the stratospheric aerosol injection program. Our water's being fluoridated and filled full of chlorine and different chemicals. There's bullshit on all of the television screens. The school systems have been manipulated, and they're pushing all of this bullshit on our children. There's so much going on right now that needs to be addressed in a mature fashion, and it shouldn't be just that we accept things. We have to push back. So I'm not saying that life is just all about peace and that everything's just about bunnies and shit. I'm saying, however, that in order for us to get to a greater state of health, we're going to have to learn to accept where we are in life, regardless of where we're at, and come to terms with that and be okay with it. Once you become okay with where you're at, once you start to love yourself in the present moment instead of, I'll be happy with myself when I lose 50 pounds, or I'll be happy with myself, I'll have more confidence when I have a 10-pack or an 8-pack or a 6-pack, whatever pack, when my biceps are bulging and all this other shit. Most people think that they need to appear a certain way to feel better about themselves. And that's what you call vanity, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you call being programmed by the Matrix. The Matrix always wants you to think that you need to attain something else other than what you have so that you can feel better about yourself. It's a toxic program that constantly keeps you in a state of doubt and personal dissatisfaction. So I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I've attained just constant, self-love for myself. It's something that I'm currently working on as well. But I have attained a greater state of peace in comparison to many people, and I want to help other people get there. We have layers and layers and years and years and years of programming installed in our subconscious minds, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you may believe that I'm just exaggerating that, but until you can actually travel into your thoughts, and good luck doing that in this world where you constantly have obligations and you never have any freedom. You're always being stimulated by a cell phone or a television or someone telling you what to do, or your boss is breathing down your neck, or you're worried about your taxes or your car payments. You never have peace. It's very difficult to find time in today's world to actually travel into your own goddamn mind and look at what's going on. And that's why I've always recommended that people utilize what's known as a minimalistic meditation. And a minimalistic meditation, for those who don't know, is when you sit in silence and you try to calm your mind. You try to stop all thinking, and try for 10 to 15 minutes to stop all thinking, and you'll come to realize that your mind is constantly swirling with thoughts, emotions, desires, addictions, the urge to do certain things. Our minds have been trained to kind of be like a rat running on a wheel, like a rat wheel, just constantly in movement, constantly cycling, never really being satisfied or at peace. And that's really it's so important, ladies and gentlemen. If you can learn to calm your mind, if you can learn to stop all of your crazy thoughts, you will find it much more, you will find it much easier, to enter into a perpetual state of peace. And that's really what we're trying to do with this type of meditation. And these are the types of meditations that I recommend, and that I recommend to clients that I work with and whatnot. I recommend a minimalistic meditation, learning how to quiet your mind. Now, what you'll find the more you do this is that the more you quiet your mind and the more you keep showing up to do it, the easier it is to find peace in the non-meditative states of your day. So if you can enter into a meditative state for 15 minutes every day for a week, and you keep doing that for a month to up to a year, what you'll find, you guys, is that the more you do that, the more that state of peace will begin to bleed into your conscious mind. So when we enter a meditative state, we're kind of entering into like a more of an alpha brainwave state. We are calming down and shutting off all of the overexcitatory parts of the brain. We're entering into a more peaceful framework of thinking. Now, most of us never do this. We're constantly on, go, 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 and we never really set time for ourselves every day to calm our minds down and to kind of cool our engines, so to speak. And that's what I view meditation as. At least a minimalistic meditation is kind of, on a metaphoric level, a way of adding coolant to your vehicle that's running way too hot. You see, all these obligations, all this stress, all of the over-acidification from the foods and all of the calcium buildup and all of the bullshit, the programming, has molded us into a species that is constantly running on high, so to speak, or metaphorically speaking. Our engines need to be cooled off. You can think of stress as the primary factor in our engines running way too hot. Stress, motivates us to do all sorts of things to escape from it, whether it be certain addictions like drinking or sex addiction, I just heard my cat jump off the counter that he's not supposed to be on. Whether it be addiction to smoking cigarettes, which acidifies your system and destroys your lungs, and it's just so many of us are so stressed out that we use things that are very unhealthy to temporarily escape from our stressful lives, and that's just more proof that we live in a crazy world. There's not a lot of peace here because we're always, we always have somewhere to be, we always have something to do. We can never just sit and look at a fucking tree for 5 minutes. We can't even enjoy nature anymore. We're constantly overstimulated. And when you're overstimulated in this matrix, it teaches you to never really be able to feel anything. We've all been numbed. And that's why we constantly need stimulation to feel satisfied or to even feel alive. So a minimalistic meditation, ladies and gentlemen, is when you sit in silence. You can sit, but what I do is before I go to bed at night, I'll lay down, calm all my muscles. I'll imagine light to kind of traveling up through all of my muscles in my body, from feet to my head to the head from my feet to the top of my head. I'll kind of move through my muscle groups and envision light in my muscles, kind of like relieving all the tension. I talk more about this on my Patreon page. I'm not going to talk about it here right now. I'll talk about it more in the near future, but I have a specific kind of visualization that I work that's kind of psychosomatic, physical and psychological, where I imagine my muscles and the tension contained therein being relieved, and it is massively effective. If you do this specific, we can call it a ritual. It's kind of a relaxation technique of sorts. If you do this for a prolonged period, you will come to find peace, ladies and gentlemen. Relaxation is essential here in this overstimulating world, and it's something that so many people neglect. But after I calm all my muscles, what I'll do is I'll sit there and I'll do my best to quiet my mind and enter a state of thoughtlessness. When you enter a state of thoughtlessness, you have successfully shut off all of the excitatory kind of mechanisms of the brain and of the body and the mind that are constantly, our programming has taught us to constantly look for food, constantly look for satisfaction, constantly look for stimulation. If you can enter into a state of just nothingness, quiet mind, and be at peace, then you will come to find peace, because those states of consciousness, nothingness, are so absolutely profound to the conscious or the subconscious mind that it will start to bleed into your conscious reality. And you'll find that the work that you do in your meditative states begins to actually benefit you in your non-meditative states, and you start to be calmer in life. You see, this is insane to me that they don't recommend stuff like this when you go to a psychiatrist. They'll just pump pills down your throat. It's just insane to me that so many of these practical methods for calming yourself have been pushed aside and neglected by so many of the mainstream outlets. It only makes sense to me. How would I put it? We have the ability to directly affect our stress levels, our emotionality, you name it, by utilizing certain protocols, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying that all of pharmaceutical drugs and whatnot are bad. I think that there are some very valid tools in Western medicine, but it's insane to me that I'm not even going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. I have here a beautiful piece of malachite. The screen really doesn't do it justice. I guess that looks pretty good on screen right now. My wife picked this up for me. We went to a gem show this weekend, and she went on Saturday. I had stayed home on Saturday because I had a bunch of shit to get done. But I went with her on Sunday, and she surprised me with this on Sunday. This is probably my favorite stone. Malachite in general is just absolutely beautiful. And she also picked me up one of these Shiva lingams, which has quartz in it. I'm going to start selling these when I launch my the store part of my website. I actually have a store up right now. It's links in the description box below. I'm not going to say the name of the .com on screen because I'm pretty sure the name's going to change in the near future. So just check the links in the description box, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got to learn to come to terms with excuse me. We've got to get rid of our stress. I'm not saying that some stress in your life is actually beneficial, because stress can actually motivate you to go down certain paths that are beneficial to you. For instance, if you have a stressful job, it might motivate you to go, God damn, I don't want to do this forever. And it might, inspire you to get a degree online or at some kind of schooling, or do some type of schooling so that you can get a better job. But at the end of the day, we were technically never designed to be working these day jobs and just have all these obligations. If our obligations are usually what drives stress, ladies and gentlemen, having car payments, having to pay child support, having to do this, having to do that, we have no fucking peace anymore. So sitting down for 5 minutes a day, start with 5 minutes. I recommend that you try this. Just sit where, lay in bed, sit in a lotus position, whatever you want to do, and just breathe and try to let all of your thoughts go. Listen to your mind, because chances are you'll come to realize that your mind is constantly swimming full of emotions and different just distracting thoughts trying to take you away from your peace. If we can go into our mind and kind of perform mental surgery on ourselves and get rid of all of the unnecessary pieces that are destroying our peace, it only makes sense that once we transmute those things and get rid of them and let go of them, we can shed our skin, so to speak, like a snake, and become a greater version of ourselves, that is unhindered by all this bullshit stress. It's just insane. But this malachite I use, you guys, I carry this around with me. I have smaller pieces as well. I think I have a piece in my little one in my pocket that I carry around. Malachite is beautiful. It provides a very uplifting effect on the consciousness, and it also, in my opinion, helps you transmute your bullshit. It can often lead to people feeling uncomfortable when they use this because it seems to be like pull some of the hidden aspects of our psyche that we're repressing out of our or out of our unconscious minds, and it kind of puts it into our conscious recognition so that we can confront it. Now, transmutation in self-healing is often uncomfortable, and that's why so many people just don't do stuff like this. You can use crystals, ladies and gentlemen. You can do so many different things to begin initiating the healing process in your life. What are you waiting for? I wanted to personally thank you for watching my videos and contributing to the growth of my channel. I could not do this without you, and your interest in my content is truly what motivates me and fuels my passion for making these videos and spreading my message. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to remind you that this channel is a free educational tool that is listener supported, and if you would like to donate to my channel and donate to my cause, help make my life a little bit easier and help keep the lights on around here, you can do so by checking out the links in the description box below. There's a handful of not only ways to donate to my channel, but I also have links to different websites and different videos of mine, as well as my Amazon store, where you can check out a plethora of different health-related products that I use and recommend. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued interest in my message, and until next time, peace be with you all.